Hello, everyone. We are
Back.
back.
Yes, that's MyKey.
That's my G, and we're here talking about crime, law, and order.
Uh, crime special crime.
Let's see what this mother has to say.
It's a moment no child should ever have to witness. Police say a father was run over by a car while his children watched helplessly. Investigators say the driver was their own mother. Now that father is gone and their mother is behind bars, possibly facing life in prison. According to Birmingham police, the man was pinned underneath the car as family members stood by powerless. His final moments were filled with pain and witnessed by the people he loved most. The woman accused of killing him appeared in court, smiling and
Oh my goodness.
Right. It's relationships when they go wrong. Yeah. So this right here, I think she's going through some things probably, and now she wants to take out frustration on the closest person to her, or the person that loves her the most. What do you think?
I think mental health. Um, if we look at this space right here and what crime they committed, and you can kind of tell, like
That ain't no mental health. She's crazy.
that's what I mean.
I ain't
I'm
mental health.
saying
That's
it
a nice word.
nicely.
She is crazy. How you gonna run that man over?
I'm saying it
About
nicely.
what? Go about your business. You don't love him? Just move on. Move on. Find another man. Find another plan. But kill a man? Nah, that's not right. Just dead wrong.
What did he do?
Let's find out. Let's
Let's
find out
let's
what he
let's
did.
find out what he did in
And
order to deserve his family members to watch him die.
nothing to deserve that. There's no. Can't make nothing up. He couldn't have done nothing bad enough. Like he didn't cheat on her. He didn't, take her money out the bank. Like, come on, call the police. Something like, don't kill the man.
In Janky Promoters, when the guy he's going in the purse,
That's worth killing.
is that worth killing?
Oh, just try to get a couple dollars. She's gonna give it right back.
That's the Aruba money. That's the Aruba money.
I was just trying to get a couple dollars. I'm gonna give it right back. Like, take all that.
laughing. I'm Kennedy Walker, and I'll walk you through the details. Dressed in a green and white striped jumpsuit with braids only on one side of her head, the other side seemingly shaved or possibly ripped out, 30-year-old Shatise Renee Jackson stood before a judge. She's now charged with capital murder after Birmingham police say she ran over the father of her children in front of them. It all happened on Easter Sunday. That day, McKees Bostic was hosting a celebration, Easter and his daughter's 7th birthday. Police say Bostic's longtime girlfriend and mother of his 2 children, Shatise Jackson, killed him by slamming her SUV into him, pinning him between the vehicle and his own home. According to investigators, the couple had been arguing throughout the day. Officers were actually called earlier on a domestic disturbance, but after talking to both parties, police say nothing criminal had taken place, so they left. But Jackson allegedly did not stay away for long. Authorities say she returned later that night and the argument escalated. Witnesses say she pulled a gun, shots were fired, though it's still unclear if she shot into the air or at someone. And then things took a fatal turn. Witnesses told police Jackson got behind the wheel of her SUV and ran Bostic over. Their children may have seen everything. Officers rushed to the scene around 10 p.m., and what they found was chaos. With around 50 people at the party, police called a, quote, max emergency because they say they couldn't control the crowd. More than 25 police units responded from 4 different precincts.
Right. So they basically find out anything. We don't know nothing. We know probably more what they do. We just speculate about it. I didn't learn anything.
I didn't learn anything.
What was the cause? What was it all about? But she went got a gun. She was shooting at him. I mean, she got to be out of her mind. Like that's that right there. The man. Sometimes men refuse to bow down or look weak, and that was his cue to leave. Right there. She's got a gun. She's been arguing all day. I'm gonna go out, get me a couple of drinks. Go to the bar, escape the madness, let it calm down. But he's gonna stand right there in the madness, like, because I guess you figure like, he loves the person. You think you really know.
Yeah, he needed to call the police prior to it. He needed a restraining order, and he needed the restraining order to.
See that right there? They're not going to get restraining orders. They're not doing that. They look weak. They look like not respectable to get a restraining order. That's women do that. Women go call the police for anything.
It does. I think from just viewing the outside and knowing that I'm a woman, and But
You would call the cops too.
I could see how being a man, it could hurt your pride a little bit for you
You
to
can't
say.
you can't see how a man would hurt her brother, because if you felt like he was in danger, you would pick up that phone fast. That man figured this woman can't do much to me. I'm not really worried about her. I could take her. Things get crazy, so he's just doing his man. The man shit cost him his life. He was trying to be a man, and that's where he went wrong. Keeping it man goes wrong.
He looks like a nice guy too.
Right.
Birmingham Fire and Rescue arrived as well, trying to save Bostic, but it was too late. He died at the scene. Bostic's sister, Catherine Bostic, spoke with AL.com. She described the scene as awful, saying family members tried desperately to save her brother, but couldn't. She claims the couple's children were inside the vehicle when their father was run over. Now, this is a crucial detail because under Alabama law, if intent is proven and a child witnesses the killing of their parent or guardian, the crime can rise to capital murder. After the incident, Jackson was arrested and booked into the Birmingham City Jail. She was placed on a 48-hour felony hold and charged with capital murder. In court, Jackson appeared to smile, at one point even seeming to laugh. As for the children, police say they were not physically harmed and they are now in police custody. Bostic's family says while their hearts are broken, they'll carry his memory with them forever, and they're determined to live in a way that honors him. So joining me to talk more about this story.
Right. She looked like Precious going mad. He had to either pull out her hair or it was falling out. She had an allergic reaction or she ran out of cheeseburgers.
I'm gonna say it again. Mental health.
She's just crazy. She was laughing. I mean, that was no joking situation. She
no joking situation.
Yeah, I mean,
her life is now on the line now.
Let's see what it's gonna feel like to get that needle in the vein. Let's see what that feels like.
How do you sleep at night knowing you had your kids in the car running over their dad?
Right, and I didn't mean to shortcome to the kid, but the kids, like, they really didn't know what's going on. The news is going to prop it up, like, oh, they saw it. What are they going to think about? They saw mommy do something that was not usual. Yeah, it looked, they probably was in the car jerking around. They said, oh, look, mommy's playing. Mommy's, my daddy, the daddy was out there laughing, it's a joke, you know what I'm saying? Now, as far as their future, when their minds go back and get that memory, then they'll pull it up. I don't think it's going to affect them immediately. But later on down the line, this is a kid. I know right now I got memories that happened from a long time ago. And then it pulls up and it plays. I don't really remember it like per se, but something that traumatic, yeah, you would probably just like little pictures here and
there. Definitely PTSD for the kids.
Right.
Now
that's not now as kids.
Not now.
As later on, as they start to understand what things are.
But now, where do the kids go? Now their mom and dad is no longer in the picture.
They have family around. Family was there.
The family was there on the scene. Right. But now, how does that family cope with the fact?
Family not going to cope. There's going to be a full-on struggle. First, they got to see about their family member, because that's where families get drawn apart. They got to choose a side. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and they have the same mind and realize, like, hey, she's sane. You need to hold her responsible for her actions.
And what she did.
Right. They looked like they went on a trip to Jamaica. They was having a good time. They looked like it was nothing there. But sometimes I think like women get a little crazy. They're trying to break up with somebody. They don't know how to tell them, and they get to the boiling point. I think he probably was a bad guy, but she probably just didn't want him. I see a lot of instances where she were trying to look sexy, trying to be a pillar for the internet. Some guy probably tried to tell her she was cute, and then boom, that's all she needed, and then she about to power up. No, that's what she killed her.
She definitely looked like she was trying to show off her body too much to me.
Right. Trying to do the sexy kill. I'm not knocking it, but don't kill a man because you want to do your thing, but do your thing.
You don't have to kill anybody.
No, you have to kill him at all. But she got his hands right here, though.
This
is disgusting. I think she's a disgusting individual. I'm really upset that, the kids' lives are ruined, families get ruined. That really bothers me a lot. So I feel like you can find other things to do with yourself, man. Go kill yourself. I'm not telling nobody to commit suicide, but I'm saying when you take a life of another that's not your own, better choices. Use your choice wisely.
Is legal expert Derek Drennan. Derek, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's just jump right in. If convicted, what kind of sentence is Jackson realistically facing?
Well, if convicted of the charged offense, then she would be looking at life without the possibility of parole and the possibility of a death sentence. But there are also the possibilities of convictions to lesser offenses, such as um, non-capital murder or manslaughter as well, which would carry somewhat lower sentences.
And what are the key differences between, capital murder and first degree murder? Because we know that she's been charged with the capital murder since they're alleging that the children were present.
Yes, I mean the main difference is that the legislature has identified some 40 odd circumstances under which an intentional murder can be charged as a capital crime. So those offenses, uh, the sentence is life without parole. And then there is an aggravating circumstance that, if it's available and proven beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury, can be used to enhance a life without parole sentence to the death sentence. Basically, any intentional murder. The legislature has identified specific characteristics among those which will be treated differently. And then, even among capital murder convicts, there's a smaller subset of them who are eligible for consideration for the death penalty. So, for example, one of the types of cases where you rarely see a death penalty sentence is a capital offense where the person is, or a vehicle is involved. So, the legislature, I don't know, 25 years ago or so, decided that if you shoot somebody from a car, within a car, outside a car, into a car, that is a capital case. But rarely do those cases lead to a death penalty, because rarely is there another provable circumstance that would trigger a death penalty sentence.
So in this case, because she was in the car, or that's what she's accused of, uh, she probably will not face
Well,
the
no,
death penalty
to
if
be
convicted.
clear, uh, the car example may have not been the best one for this example, because it's not using the car as the means to cause death. It's just that the shooting into or from or within a car. In this instance, it's a capital case, as I understand it, because the children under 14 were witnesses to their parent being murdered. And that is the circumstance that's triggered this to be a capital offense. Um, so if she were convicted, they would then have to prove a aggravating circumstance to the satisfaction of the jury beyond a reasonable doubt for them to consider whether or not she should or shouldn't be sentenced to death. Probably the most likely one in this case would be heinous, atrocious, and cruel. So that, let's say that she pinned the man against the wall, and he's screaming and hollering, and she just keeps hitting the accelerator. That could arguably be heinous, atrocious, and cruel, as opposed to hitting him at 55 miles an hour and instant causing instant death. So um, those are just kind of the vagaries. I would imagine in this case that the defense is going to be looking into what were the circumstances that led up to this. In other words, is there anything that would suggest that maybe that was a heat of passion, manslaughter type, circumstance
Right.
where she was.
Could Jackson face any additional charges for the use of the firearm, even if no one was hit? Because police in the report, they're claiming that people heard gunshots and things of that nature, but they don't know if the shot was in the air or anything like that. So could she face any charges for that?
She certainly could, and that would just be based on the evidence that they have. And I don't know what I mean. It may be that the only witness to the shooting inside the house is no longer with us, and that's why those charges haven't been brought. I don't know.
Well, since we're not lawyers, I can't really tell you the ins and outs of that, but she killed him.
Yeah.
See it on camera. They all saw it. Everybody,
50
other
witnesses. Said 50 people were there.
She was laughing about it. She thought it was funny. Think it was funny. The one thing I found funny is that she kept looking different in every picture. It's like her appearances was changing. You notice that?
I noticed that.
One picture she looked. That last picture, but she's in jail. Like that looked like nothing. None of other pictures. Like that one looks totally different. And that means that it seemed like she was having a transforming part. She was transforming. She was going from one end, you saw her smiling, and then now that like a state of depression right there. Like she looks like she's out of her mind.
She does look like she's not with reality.
Right. So
And it looked like it was, like you said, it looked like it was transitioning
right,
over a period of time.
but like that was the end result. I guess he didn't see that. He didn't notice that. Hey, she's changing
Mhm.
rapidly, mentally. That's why the arguments started happening more frequent, more around the kids, and like he didn't see that coming. Like he's a nice, fun-loving guy, He loved the family. He probably thought she was just gonna get over it, get through it, and it backfired.
We argue. So controversially, people like to say, "Oh, when they see a couple fighting, they like to not get in the middle of it." But
Right.
them getting in the middle of it could have meant this man's life or death. So controversially, in the comments, I want to know: would you have stepped in? When do the family, or when does somebody actually step in to stop something like this from happening? When is it okay? Because I know that people don't like people to be in their business and everything like that. But when is it okay to be in the business? Now it's okay to be in the business to prevent this guy from dying. But
Or should you support someone knowing they're wrong? When you see people are wrong, you support it anyway. You can say that's my family.
her family members right now, are they in support of what she did?
Right. You have to. So when people make bad decisions like that, they're gonna regret it because they could have probably stopped it by telling her, "Hey, listen, that's wrong."
Or we need to do something to intervene here.
If you know about it, you should be held accountable along with her because you just as much of the problem as she was. And now family is being destroyed. So you're keeping things to yourself or keeping it real close up, man, and the family to be destroyed. You could have prevented that. So you just as guilty. You gotta speak out though. Sometimes let people tell the truth and it hurts, but at least you know. So at that point I could wash my hands and say, hey, I don't got nothing to do with this. You got 100 years to give me the needle. I'm gonna come watch it, check it out. So I see you through. I'm gonna support you all the way through. But I'm not on your side. But I'm riding with you though.
Right.
Riding with you. At that point, get up out of here. That was another one that we had. I thought that was a little bit more serious though, the one we had been doing to this point.
Right.
Both families stay together.
And for both sides of her family and his family, our condolences and our sympathy towards what you might be going through right now.
Right.
Don't forget to subscribe for more content and hit that like button if you liked it. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like it. Comment your thoughts.
Right. Join the community. I'm MyG.
I'm MyKey.
Good night.